Okay, welcome to Rooftop Talks. That's what I'm going to call this series, where I'm on my roof. I'm on a rooftop in Barcelona, and it's very simple, really. I want these videos to be quick, low budget, things that I can make very quickly to just get an idea out there, usually about veganism. And yeah, I've been writing on my phone. When I've been traveling or when I've just had a spare moment, I've been writing lots of ideas down on my phone. And so here's where I get to voice them, get to share some of these ideas that maybe you hadn't thought of before about veganism. So that's a little introduction to what this series is going to be. The first video I want to talk about is the question, do vegans hate everyone? Or more specifically, do vegans hate anyone who's not a vegan? Now, I have met vegans who are what you might call misanthropic vegans. And I've also met, or I've also come to know certain very influential vegans, such as Gary Yourofsky, who started out quite optimistic and hopeful and firm and a great activist, and then became corrupted by this misanthropy, this rage. And of course, if you are aware of the vegan cause, of the vegan stance, if you have had the blinkers lifted from your eyes and you've had that epiphany of how we treat animals, non-human animals in our society, you probably will have felt a range of emotions, some of them being despair, confusion, everyone starts in denial, and of course, anger. I felt intense anger towards the state of affairs, and it's something I have to battle with. It's almost like in Star Wars with following the way of the Jedi and the path of the Sith, the dark side of the Force instead of the light side. And the thing is, it's if the dark side of the Force wasn't tempting, then it wouldn't be a threat. But it's because it's so tempting to be seduced by the dark side of the Force and to give in to our rage and our anger, that's what makes it so dangerous. Anyway, Gary Yourofsky, if you've seen some of his more contemporary videos, it's not good. It's not good. It's really lashing out at people. And of course, there's being a vegan and then there's being a vegan advocate. Normally when I talk about being a vegan, I imply that there's being a vegan advocate, right? Where you're trying to persuade people that it's wrong to hurt animals, to cause animals harm, to fund industries which exploit animals, and that we shouldn't be doing it, and that you should stop as soon as possible. You should stop now. If that is you, if you're someone who is a vegan advocate as well as a practicing vegan, I think your job as being a vegan advocate is made very difficult, or perhaps even impossible, if you hate people. Because to hate someone is to condemn them. It's to believe that they cannot change, that they will always be who they are right now in this moment, and that they are incapable of becoming better. And if you believe that about someone, then why on earth would you try to change their mind? You wouldn't. You wouldn't even begin. Or if you did, you would make a half-hearted attempt, and you would probably, and this is something that we see a lot as vegans, we see a lot of vegans where they're doing advocacy of some kind, but they're doing it in a way which doesn't actually have the objective of converting that person, of bringing that person, inviting that person over to our side. And in fact, what the real motive is more of an emotional catharsis. It's intending to get something off the vegan's chest, to lash out at people who disagree. And of course, when you lash out at someone and when you insult them and call them names, of course, there's always the temptation there. The dark side is very tempting. That's why it's so dangerous. But if you give in to that temptation, then you're probably not going to win them over to your side, because they're going to dig into their position. You're going to dig into your position. And that's not helping the animals. The real reason we do what we do is for the animals. It's out of respect and consideration for the other tribes of Earth, the other tribes that we share this Earth with. And we must always remember that. And that's what I'm trying to do with each conversation that I have with someone, is I'm always trying to root myself, to ground myself in the underlying cause for this all. The motivation that is at the heart of all of this is not to prove myself to be right. It's not to stroke my own ego. It's not to get something off my chest, some kind of emotional catharsis. I am doing what I think the animals would want of me. I'm trying to be the advocate that the animals would want. And I think that is someone who actually is producing the numbers, creating conversions, real conversions to veganism, of course, and also someone who is not getting mired in the nuances of political discussions when veganism becomes political. Someone who's not trying to make a career for themselves, becoming a debater, a debate bro about this, and trying to get it clicks and engagement and whatever your metric is. That's not the metric that I'm going by, and I don't think it's the metric that a true honest vegan should go by, a vegan advocate. I think the metric is conversions. It has to be, because the only way that the animals are going to make it out of this pit of despair is by making this, I think, making this a movement. It's not about me personally, it's about building that social movement and building it and gaining critical mass until we have people in parliament, until we can actually make animal ownership, the buying and selling and breeding of animals, a social taboo, a real social taboo. Not a controversy, but a taboo. Like, you know it's bad, everyone knows it's bad, and that is patently clear to everyone. Anyway, got a little bit rambly there, but this is Rooftop Talks, and one thing you can expect with Rooftop Talks is for it to be a little bit unstructured. I think that's going to be the style of this, because I don't want to have to edit it too much. Hopefully I won't have to edit this one at all, but we'll see. Maybe I get insecure about a certain part in the timeline and decide, I misspoke there, what I meant to say was this, or whatever. But I'm trying not to second guess myself as much, because I do believe that I just need to start talking and getting things out. So thank you very much for your patience for listening to this one, and I will have more of these coming out. I have a lot to talk about and a lot of issues, a lot of things that maybe you haven't been exposed to yet. But it's getting dark here, so my next one will have to be shot tomorrow. Yeah, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.